And it's time for Cowboys and Coffee. We're back, season 6D. We're kicking off with new stuff that's happening. Roster, draft, free agency is about to kick off. We have Spen back here. Spen, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Glad you're here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited for a new season. I'm excited to get this defense turned over. Cowboys have tagged George Pickens. They put a restricted tender on Brandon Aubrey, a second round tender. They have not, as of just now, we just reported they have not tendered. They're not going to tender Brock Hoffman as a backup lineman. So they'll be moving on from him. They seem to believe in their ability to develop linemen, and I'm not necessarily against that. Um, but my real focus to start is going to be the NFL draft post combine. So, D, what's your take on where the Cowboys are at 12 and 20 in the first round, no second and third? Who are some prospects you're looking at? Like, where are we going with this draft coming up?
Well, I like the set of defensive ends out there. But I'm going to tell you this. Love and those guys and Ohio State safety, due to his injuries, this statistically, it gets a little higher getting him. We're going to go through, though, cleaning him up and getting him ready. I don't want injured guys 2 years down the road. Jalen Smith and a couple others, the linebacker who was hurt with the neck.
Well, listen,
That's what I'm concerned about. I like the guy from Georgia. That's where I want
CJ Allen.
CJ
You
Allen.
want him at 12.
I want him. I want him at 12.
Would you prefer Sonny Styles over him?
Sonny Styles ain't gonna be there.
I don't think after that combine, because we've seen what he is. He's a great leader. He's a human missile on the football field.
He's got it all.
Ben, where are we at with the draft for you? Some prospects you're looking at 12 or 20. What are we thinking?
It's tough because the two guys that we all want are probably not going to be there, which is Styles and Downs. Those are the guys that would be an absolute dream to get them. I think, like you said, Paul, Styles is now out of the question. I think a couple weeks ago, I really thought Styles was going to be there when I was doing my mock drafts for us. Every single time I was picking Styles there. And I didn't think Downs was going to be there. Now it's a little bit more with the knee issues with Downs. Like there's a possibility. I think the big question is Cincy and Miami right in front of us, where they need help in the secondary. And if you're Cincinnati, you can pick an Ohio guy and completely change your secondary going forward, something to build off of. So it's tough. So in my mind, there's a lot of defensive ends out there that we could probably get that still might even be there at 20. There's no one really that jumps off the tape for me that much at 12. So if I'm sitting at 12, Downs is gone, Styles is gone, I'm going to come up with a crazy pick that is not what you might think. Give me Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, to
Who
take the offense over the top to add a huge weapon on offense because the best defense is an even greater offense. And we can just draft everybody defensively after that, get somebody at 20 and, maybe even move up
Can
into
I
the
follow
third
up
or
this real
something.
quick?
Go ahead.
Let me follow this up. There's some tendencies that the Cowboys do these things. So there's some truth to it.
Listen,
It's not
Well,
often. It's
it's
not
best
crazy.
athlete available. He was a physical freak. We saw it
he's
at the
awesome.
combine.
Yeah.
He would, if you add him with Ferguson, retain Pickens, we'll get to that, but that offense would be absolutely disgusting and dangerous,
And
which will help if we don't completely turn around the defense in
I'll
one
give you some
offseason.
credit for that, son.
so
That's a good
so
one.
the,
I'll
the
give you credit.
reality is it's going to depend on what they do in free agency, right?
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson's a free agent now. Are they going to, what do they do in the back end? Their comp picks, which I believe were six rounders, are now both fifth rounders from Jordan Lewis and DeMarcus Lawrence. If you flip one of those and give me Minka Fitzpatrick and you sign Alante Taylor as another cornerback, that nickel corner, your safety. Okay, because these are positions that are super important in this Christian Parker defense. You go out, you sign me a linebacker and a defensive end, and you say, okay, we've kind of added pieces through free agency. So when we get at 12, we get at 20, we don't have to force anything. We can take the best available player. Yeah, okay, Jeremiah Love slips to 12, and you say, okay, we've addressed the defense all in free agency, right? They've restructured Dak, they've restructured CD, Tyler Smith. They're going to re-sign Kenny Clark to an extension to reset his money a little bit. Okay, I could see Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not against that. He's certainly an excellent guy. I tend to disagree with both of you that Caleb Downs just won't be there. I think he will be. I think I've been saying the whole time, I've been saying since last year, Caleb Downs is the guy for Dallas. I think he's the guy. I think with this stuff, some of these other safeties looked really good. I don't think there's any rush to grab a safety when you have a safety out of Oregon, who I think is phenomenal. There's really fourth rounders here. Thieneman and Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Those guys they could both be first round picks too. So there's three guys. We're talking about someone like AJ Halsey. I'm fine with him. Bud Clark. These are guys that'll be drafted third, fourth round that will be playing. So I don't think the rush is to get Caleb Downs, especially with a difficult combine under his belt. I think he does still land in Dallas. And let's look at what's happening league wide. When you draft players without the positional value, or what's going to be the value of their fifth year extension, or what you're going to pay them for the fifth year. You know what I'm talking about, the fifth year value that you add on for a first round pick, and then the extension after that. Look at someone like the Ravens, who drafted Tyler Linderbaum, who you would expect him to re-sign him, but the fifth year tag on him would be at the price of an offensive tackle, a top five offensive tackle, and he's just pricing himself out. Now they may go ahead and be able to re-sign him, but they've almost priced themselves out of the market because they took a center, and he's been phenomenal. But because he's a center and that fifth year value, the fifth year option there, it prices him out. Look at the Giants and Saquon Barkley. Yes, he's been great. He was fantastic with the Cowboys with Zeke. You take a player who you're going to have to spend that fifth year money on, which would be big money. Do I want to spend that fifth year money on an edge or a tackle or a receiver? Or do I want to spend that money on a running back or a safety or a center? And the reality is, I want the premium positions for that. You look at someone like this tackle who's flying off the boards, Monroe Freeling from Georgia. That guy's going to be a top 10 pick. Mark my words, he will be a top 10 pick.
No.
Top 10 pick. This dude
he's
is
an Ogden. You saying
no, I'm saying he's going to be valued as a top 10 pick. He's 6'7", 315, and can move. This was going to be a top 10 pick. He's going to be an offensive tackle. You're talking about the two
Bengals.
teams. Right,
Bengals.
I'm about to say, you have the Bengals and the Dolphins. Both teams who sure could use secondary help, but now Bengals just lost their best pass rusher. They still have no offensive line, so they're going to pick offensive or defensive line, right? You look at the Dolphins, they have nothing anywhere, right? They stink. They're in a total rebuild. They're jettisoning their players. They're about to cut Tua. So you kind of need to, if you're going to rebuild with this system, with a coach from Green Bay, they're going to get a big offensive lineman. I could see the Dolphins starting by saying, we're going to pick this big Monroe Freeling fella and start to work his way in there. There's a lot of guys, or you pick the guard from Penn State, who is another guy who could be a top 15 pick. You say, oh, well, again, you talk about value, but he's so good of a guard. This guy could be Pro Bowler very early in his career. So I think Caleb Downs is there for the Cowboys at 12. I know people think I'm crazy, but I think with combine and all the stuff that's moving around, I think Caleb Downs makes it to 12. So we've talked about 12. What about 20? That's the big, we would love for them to trade out of either 12 or 20 to pick up a second or a third or both, or whatever. But if you're at 20 and you stick and pick whatever player you want at 12, what do you do at 20? How motivated are you?
My turn or your turn, Spence? What you going to do?
So obviously, my first recommendation is to trade back. I would love for them to trade back, either to the back of the first round or to the front of the second. Maybe pick up that second and the third to kind of get back and play a little bit, because if
that happens, I'll say I went to Apotek.
If
No,
what
no,
if,
no.
if
If you
wow.
say that, yeah, yeah, Avatech, I want to Bravia. I'll set the stage. If they do that, we can get out of there. I'll say I'm a Bravia bear.
Yeah, and especially if you're saying what Paul is thinking is going to happen, if that happens and we get Caleb Downs, 100% trade back. I think it really depends on who's there. Uh, at 20, it's a little bit shakier after our pick at 12 to see who's there. Love could be there. It depends. You're talking about positional value. Paying a running back, top 15 money is tough. Love could be there. Sadiq could be there. Sadiq coming after a Caleb Downs pick is best case scenario for the first round, and we can fill in the blanks. And like you said, with free agents as well, you go pick up a Bradley Chubb, um, or even a Nakobe Dean, and you
Yep.
don't feel so bad. I would love for them to trade back and get. I really like Jacob Rodriguez from Texas
Awesome.
Tech
Yeah.
as a linebacker. Very smart, has a nose for the ball, but not at 20, obviously. But if they trade back and get a second or a third, depending on kind of where he's at on their board, I would love to have him there. I also like the DN from Auburn, Folk,
Yeah.
who's a big guy, strong.
Now, I've
I
heard
think he has
Jerry
a good
say they're not
frame.
really interested in project players, though, and Falk seems more like a project player to me. Now, he played in the two gap
But
system.
he's 6'6", 290, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
a
he's big.
project. He played in a system that didn't allow him to rush the passer a lot, and he played his position well. I don't think they need a 3-4 DN. They need an edge rusher. I hear what you're saying with Falk. He's got the physical tools, but I just think Jerry, from what he has stated, it doesn't look like. I hear you. I hear you with what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
so can I
Go
go my
ahead. Go ahead.
turn?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now,
At 20,
at 20, the guy's been out a year, and I think he can come back from that injury, Tennessee corner.
Jerron McCoy. I'm worried
Is
about
he
Jerron
good? Is
McCoy
he good?
when he plays. It's been 18 months and he hasn't.
That
He's still not comfortable running on that though. That's another
right
red
now?
flag. Yes, he didn't run to combat because he didn't feel comfortable. He may not run in a pro day. That's
Well,
again. I don't.
Not feeling comfortable. I don't like that. I don't feel comfortable.
That's my thing.
Yeah,
A
if you
a
don't feel
cornerback.
comfortable, I don't feel comfortable, and he don't feel
It's been a
comfortable.
year and a half. Okay,
Right.
it's not 9 months. It's double
What's his
9 months.
size?
Jamal McCoy, I have to double check what his
I think
size
he's
is.
6 foot.
Yeah, I think he's 6 foot tall. Um, Now he can play when he's healthy. He is six
But
foot 193.
we've done this before though. We've gotten the high talent guys. We've had the Jalen Smiths, the Van Der
Yeah,
Esch.
We
These
drafted
yeah.
guys,
Siobhan
And I
Revenge
think
Jr.
that.
last year, right? We drafted a
Yeah,
guy who we had a first round talent knee. Now I think he'll benefit highly from this
yeah.
defense, Ravel Jr. I'm not in a great rush to draft a cornerback round one because I actually think free agency is where you can address that because I don't think they're that far off with Bland and Ravel and Kalen Carson with a new defensive scheme and someone mixed
Well,
in.
because it's the same thing. Who's under contract that is defensive end on the team? Who's under contract? Two or three people, I think.
Right. And they
yeah, it's
definitely,
not
and
much.
Donovan
Houston
Arazawaku is
and
just,
Donovan, Houston
and
and Donovan.
and he's about to have hip surgery, which will keep him out for the spring, but he'll be there for camp. He won't miss any
Right,
time.
Houston, Donovan, and who else?
Sam Williams still under contract for another
Nope,
year.
nope.
He's a dummy anyway, so re respectfully.
Yeah, they
Um,
they need to address it in free agency for
they
sure.
have to pick up Odafe
Well, they
Owe.
got to get bodies in there.
Right,
There's nobody
right.
under contract.
Yeah, Odafe
To,
Owe, the edge rusher, is definitely someone good. I don't. Jalen Phillips is, I think, a little overrated and overpaid for someone who gets hurt a lot.
yeah.
I'm
I'll
not.
take Chubb if the price is right.
Injuries have robbed his body though of what he
If
used
not,
to
that's why
be.
I'm saying if the price is right, he can still get
I
after
like
the
it. Yeah.
Listen, but at that price, I'm just going to bring back Clowney, right? Clowney gave me something last year, and it wasn't too much in my opinion. That's me, and I hate
Clowney
to
had a
feel like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
poo-pooing everything. I
yeah.
don't. I don't mean
Right.
it like that. Um, at
Chubb is like
20,
28 though. It's a little
what?
bit different. Chubb is like 28. It's a little
It's
bit different
true.
than Clowney.
But that would also give me more reason to think if you're 28 and your body's not responding well from injury now, buddy, what makes you think going into your 30s, give them a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal?
Yeah,
If they're
we've
going to
had
pay
a
you that,
bad run taking people who have been hurt. We've
right?
had a bad run at it.
I would not, Boye Mafe, another guy right off the Seahawks roster. That's a guy I could consider throwing, 12, $13 million out as an edge rusher because you're going to need bodies. And the Seahawks have
Yeah.
shown you, and successful teams show you, you need multiple rushers all the time. If I'm Dallas at
Real,
20,
real
and
quick, Paul.
go ahead.
Real quick. The Chubb part. What do you think his sack totals have been the past 2 years?
What do you have? 7 sacks, 8 sacks this year?
8.5 and
Yeah.
11 before that.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's not producing.
No, I hear
Right.
you. I
Right.
hear
And
you.
I'm a Chubb guy. I said,
Yeah, and,
yeah.
and I wouldn't be mad. I guess I would say I would probably rather have Clowney at this point because I know against the run, I trust Clowney more. And I don't think that he'll have issues hanging in like I think Chubb potentially could, because we're talking about allocation of resources.
Well, it's an interesting thing what Clowney said about the facility, didn't he? How great it was.
Yeah. So here's another
Yeah.
thing I think
So
that
that's a plus.
Dallas considers at 20. I think 20 is the spot that you trade down. I think 12, you're going to have a premium talent there for this draft that you want to stick and pick. 20, between 20 and 34, 20 and 36, I think you can start to mix and match.
Right.
I would prefer to keep another first rounder, but here's where I'm at. Today, the Chiefs traded Trent McDuffie for a first, a fifth, and a sixth rounder this year and a third next year. Well, let's say someone like Kenyon Sadiq falls to 20 spend, and the Chiefs have already spent a pick earlier in the first round on a lineman or whoever it is, because they released Jawan Taylor, right, who stunk for them. But they've already picked whatever position they planned on picking earlier. They have that later first round pick, and they say, you know what? Here's a guy who can absolutely revamp our offense. We need more speed. Travis Kelce looks like he was mid-marriage out there last year. It looked like he was running in unlaced Timbs out there, right? He's so slow. You need to speed it up. This is the guy to get to put in that offense to really bring it back to speed, and you still have two guys on the outside who needed to learn how to drive safely and not, abuse people. So, you move back to 29, 20 to 29, I'm going to get that first round pick. And then I'm getting at least a second rounder out of that as well. Say, okay, I'll take a high second from the Chiefs. Then I can still say, all right, let me draft a D end later in that first round. Maybe in the second round, I can still take my linebacker like Rodriguez as well. There's a lot of options available. If I'm looking like I'm not a huge Akeem Mesidor fan from Miami. First of all, he's old. He's not young by any stretch of the imagination. R. Mason Thomas or Cassius Howell a little later. TJ Parker might be there at 29 where you can pick him up. We still have time for the boards to kind of feel a little set, but I think you could get Caleb Downs or CJ Allen or whoever early, trade back and still be in the first round, get your first rounder, and then have a second rounder to stack and say, man, we have something here that we can cook with. Now, my thing to both of you is this. Every single year, a team does something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you're like, wow, this is why? Why would they do this? Is there a team that you see throughout the draft? Maybe you thought of this and say, this is the turning point. What's going to happen here? Is there a team you see out there who could potentially do that or make a pick where you're like, let's go through the draft order. Let's say, okay, what could this be? The Raiders at 1, I feel like are set. Jets at 2 are probably taking Reese. 3 of the Cardinals. 4 the Titans. 5 the Giants. There's been floating around the Giants like Jeremiah Love, which I think is great because what they really should do is draft the offensive lineman from Miami and keep it pushing. The Browns at 6, who are going to draft offensive line no matter. I mean, no, the Browns are losing all 5 of their starters from last year.
That's crazy.
So they're drafting offensive line. Best offensive lineman there.
Disaster.
That's what they're drafting.
I should take it over.
The Commanders at 7, I think, take the best defensive player. David Bailey, I think, is like a shoe-in there for me. I think Ruben Bain goes a little earlier. 8, the Saints. They could take the running back. They could take a receiver. I think they have something there. The Chiefs at 9. I don't.
And by the way, Spence, the Saints quietly had a very good season.
They did better than I thought.
Yeah, way better.
The defense was top ranked.
Yeah, and
10. Yeah.
you have the Chiefs at 9, the Bengals at 10, the Dolphins at 11. If you could pick a team out of all those teams in the top 11, who's the one team who you think they could absolutely mess it up?
Dolphins.
I could see it. They
Uh,
pick someone you're like,
Yeah.
why? A new regime there,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but you got to prove me wrong
Yeah.
till you're proven right. Spend anyone in that top 11, you're like, oh, this team could absolutely jack it up.
So my gut reaction is the Giants picking Love with so many other needs. They need to protect that young quarterback. Um, even if they were to drop back a little bit on, someone coming up for one of those pass rushers, I think they would be it. But also Cincinnati, just because everything would say you need to get an offensive lineman uh, or even secondary help, you know, to help Joe Burrow out, to help that defense out. Like either one is top two, and I can see him going and getting a defensive end or somebody like that, something stupid because they've done that in the past, and then probably not pay him either.
Now, here's a free agent name to keep an eye on. The Giants just released Bobby Okereke at linebacker. I would not mind him in Dallas at all. I would not
No,
mind him.
They released him.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I didn't think he was paid over the
Something's
top.
wrong there.
That's someone who I would keep an eye on for Dallas. I think he would be a perfect fit
Oh,
inside
oh yeah, yeah.
his
Well,
tough nose. He'd be perfect fit for this
Oh,
defense.
yeah, and you know what? That Christian Parker would be underneath his head saying,
Yes, because he was the defensive captain for them last year.
I'm shocked on that one. I don't get that.
This is a guy who you're not going to have to pay like a Nakobe
Yeah.
Dean, who is very good,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to
He's
have to
overrated.
pay him like
Yeah.
Devin Lloyd,
Yeah.
right? Who's very good, right? You're not going to have to pay him like those guys. And I think would be incredibly motivated in the NFC East. Like, give me Bobby Okereke in 3 year, $15 million, $60 million deal.
Because it's funny because when I watched the Giants, that was the
$20
first
million.
person I looked at on the field.
Yes, he's
Right?
talented.
Did you, Spence, when you watched the Giants?
Yep. Smart, tough, and keeps his nose clean. Doesn't get in any trouble.
Yeah,
He's a leader.
I want to say the Cardinals because I just think they're a mess of an organization, even though they're kind of redoing things. But I'm going to say the Giants for one reason, and it's two words: Joe Shane. Joe Shane has done a horrible job of getting talent that fits together. So you got Neighbors,
He's
you
really
got
good, yeah.
the quarterback, okay, but he also has failed to address the offensive line.
And
Right.
Aggie is a coordinator, forget it.
Right.
I mean,
They
I'm
got-
glad they got him.
Yeah, I love that they got him.
Glad they got
Listen,
him.
the draft where they get Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, what do they have from that? Kayvon Thibodeau, we've talked about him moving on from him, and Evan Neal is a horrible offensive.
How many sacks did Thibodeau got in the last 2 years? I think last year, not this year, this past the year before
He
he
had
had the
10
10.
sacks. We had a good start.
And I think he only had 5 this year, if that. I think he only had 5.
Well, it seems like every year they're talking about him like, oh, this is going to be the year that he takes off. Oh, this is the year that he's going to blow up, and it just hasn't happened.
I'll tell you one thing though, that Joker, he knows how to dress. He's a sharp guy.
Yeah. He had 2.5 sacks last year and 5.5 the year before. That he had 11.5 in 2023.
Are you kidding me? Forget that.
Right. And the thing is, you also have
wow.
Brian Burns there and Abdul Carter. So you're not getting the snaps on the edge that you would normally get. So again, those are 2 first-round picks that they had that just stunk.
Wow.
And Joe Shane is probably the reason why I would say Giants.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
They're not.
Is there there's some talk about Brandon Aubrey? Think of someone like the Rams who have like $70 million in cap room. They're going to sign Trent McDuffie to a new contract. Now they've traded for him, but they still have plenty of contract of free agency signings. Let's say they offer Brandon Aubrey $11 million a year because their kicking was horrendous last year. And you say, okay, the Rams are going to say, forget them picks. We'll trade our first this year. We'll trade our second for Brandon Aubrey so their kicking is all set. And Cowboys end up with a second round pick this year as well. How do you feel having to say, okay, we're losing Aubrey, we have to address kicker, but we have a second round pick? Is that a fair trade?
Bye.
Yeah, I think Dallas has shown they can address that
Bye-bye.
need a kicker.
Bye. He won't
Right.
go to Green Bay because it's out. They
It's
need
out.
a kicker. They need
Yeah.
a kicker. Bye.
There's been reports that Green Bay has been checking in and talking to Brandon Aubrey, which is tampering, which they
You
should
heard
be.
that, huh?
They should be. There was reported today online,
Oh,
and a lot
really?
of people are bringing up that it looks like there's tampering from the Packers with Brendan Aubrey. Now, he is not nearly as good a kicker outdoors as he is indoors.
Bye-bye.
If I were him, I would be headed to LA in a minute,
Yeah.
right? Um, would I rather be a kicker for the LA Rams in LA or in Green Bay? Yeah. Anyway, Brendan Aubrey could be gone, and that brings you another second round pick, which I think allows you to again address the defense. Even if you never trade back, then you really don't have to trade back, right? As we were talking about, spend to try and draft one of those other linebackers. I would love Jacob Rodriguez in Dallas, man. He would be a star, a local star in Dallas, right?
Oh
From
yeah.
Texas Tech, like this guy would be, he would be Mr. Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take
I
him in a
watched them
minute.
all
And
throughout the year.
remember we
Yeah,
met that win?
he was awesome.
Did you meet him, Spence?
No, I don't
He
think
was
I meant that.
Yeah, man, he was awesome. Yeah.
super cool. All right. Is there any player in the draft that you're like, no, I don't want that guy? Nope, not getting him. Who is the one player you're like, oh,
I don't, who stands out this year with that?
you're like, I don't,
Or
whether it's positional fit or whether it's a draft pick, someone at 12, you're like, if they pick this guy, I'm gonna
Right.
fight.
There's usually one guy you don't want.
Now, Spencer last year called they were gonna pick Booker, called it, nailed it. And
Mhm.
Pick who?
Booker,
Who's
The
Booker?
guard.
Tyler
Oh,
Booker.
Booker. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Oh, what missed that?
You still owe me lunch, by the way,
Why? Why?
because we bet that you'd buy me lunch if I was right.
That's right. I said there's no way to draft an alignment first round.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll take care of that. When I go down April, is April going down? April what?
You're coming down here in April?
When's that Oreo game?
Oh yeah, April.
April what?
The 5th or 6th, something like that.
Okay,
Or the 9th at the end of the week.
and in a week we'll see. We'll do something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't want the Tennessee corner,
Who? Not
the Tennessee corner,
Yeah.
and I really, I mean, that's an easy one though.
right.
I don't want the corner from LSU.
You don't
I
want
I have
Minnesota?
PTSD. I have PTSD from LSU corners who are supposed to be very, very, very good.
Well, I remember that draft.
I
Reading all
think
the books about him.
you still have the magazine from that draft that said he was going to be the next Dion.
It's
I
the
don't
next
want a
year.
corner in the first round. I really don't. Unless he's 6'2", 6'3", and fast, I don't want him. And he's only like 5'11", 6 foot. He's not even that big.
Now we talk about, do you pick a player based on like their program and what they've traditionally like put out? You're like, I'm not taking Ohio State quarterbacks or whatever.
Right. Because I'm
Now,
almost like that. Yeah.
now
So
we,
what time is this?
yep, we're good. We're almost done here.
Okay.
Want to read to you Alabama first round lineman taken in the NFL draft. We had Tyler Booker last year, who I think had an exceptional rookie year and shown a ton of promise. Let's go back before him, though. 2024, J.C. Latham, Titans, 7th overall pick. Stinks.
I don't think he's in the league.
Uh, he's not good. 2022, 7th overall pick, Evan Neal.
Is he in the league?
He's still on the roster.
But he's not even playing, right?
No. First round pick 2021, Alex Leatherwood.
I don't think he's in the league.
No, he stinks. First round pick of 2020, Jedrick Wills, who has not been bad,
Oh,
for the Browns, but
Right.
he's not a Pro Bowler. 2019, offense tackle Jonah Williams for the Bengals.
and he's been well.
Garbage. Let's go back to
That's why I didn't want Booker.
right. Let's go back to 2016, 18th overall pick, Ryan Kelly, center for the Colts, who made 4 Pro Bowls.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
had a good.
He's got a good career.
Yeah, he had a good career.
The centers are fine.
The centers are fine. Yeah, Landon Dickerson also got picked in the second round.
Yeah.
Right, his centers play well. Oh my gosh. 2013, 10th overall pick and 11th overall pick. Chance Warmack and DJ Fluker.
Who?
All pros.
Wow.
Yeah, just
They were bad. They were bad as pros.
yep. 2011,
Luker
James
bounced around like
Carpenter.
7 times.
Yeah, just really
It's strange. They didn't.
yeah. So they have not produced, but it's turned out Tyler Booker's the one. So, I did not want the guard last year. I don't think they're drafting offensive line early this year unless they start to trade out or make some moves. But again,
But
free agent
you saw their philosophy. Yeah.
free agency is going to dictate the draft as it
Yeah.
should. If Jerry is as aggressive as he says, give me Bobby Okereke, give me Alontae Taylor as that nickel cornerback who is
Yeah,
nasty
give
and
me
brings the
Okereke. Oh, I
edge.
love Okereke.
Whoop, give me those
In a
two first.
Dallas uniform.
Trade me a fifth for
Oh,
Mika
he'll-
Fitzpatrick and go sign an edge rusher. That way you can go to the draft and say, whoever falls to us, we're going to take them. Best available defensive player at 12, we're taking them. Or
Or even if the defense, if you're saying that they get some edge rushers, they get an Okereke, they get it, Minka. Let's say there's a wide receiver picked up ahead of us because Carnell Tate could definitely go
Mhm.
to
Makai
the
Lemon.
Saints. Get Makai Lemon. There could be guys that push tackles, offensive tackles back, like the guy from Miami. You get a big guy who can go in at right tackle. You never know. It just depends on free agency
Yeah, they have to
on who
address the
they
needs
pick
of
up.
free agency
Booker.
and move from there. Listen, we're going to wrap it
Yeah.
up right here. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up the episode?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Smash. Good job.
I think if Pickens is scooped up by somebody and we get that second round pick, then maybe we go get a Carnell Tate with that pick or
Just
Lemon.
just to clarify, Pickens has a transition tag. It would be 2 first-round
Oh,
picks.
first round pick. That's right.
Right. Yes.
Smart that was.
Now
Game changer.
if he does leave for 2 first-round picks, yes, I'm using a first rounder on a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And to me, to circle back to what we talked about before, this is what I want to say. The team that does something stupid this year will be the team that trades a 2027 first round pick. If you're giving up a first round pick next year, it's suicide. Or you better win the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's maybe I shouldn't say suicide.
Right.
You're gonna prematurely give up a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Is what I should say. Because there's great talent coming out next year, stacked top to bottom.
Oh yeah.
First 3 rounds, you're going to be getting starters easy.
Yeah, it's one of the best ever.
Right. So that's the team who gives up a first rounder next year. That's the team we're all going to look at and say, whatever they got, it better be a Hall of Famer or it better put him over the top because there's no other reason for it. Okay.
Calvin Watkins coming Monday.
All right, Calvin Watkins, we have coming for Cowboys and Coffee. We're going to talk with him. You shout out anyone else besides Calvin Watkins, guys?
I have a grandson, number 4 grandson, who's going to be the starting Red Sox third baseman, switch hitter in Fenway Park.
All right.
That joker's going to hit both sides of the plate.
Spen,
Like his uncle.
got anything?
Shout out to Paulito, my nephew, whose birthday is on Friday, who is going to be the starting right guard for the Dallas Cowboys. And
Dak Martin, Larry
And
Allen,
tell you-
Paul Cortez, and John Nyland.
He would knock
John
you out.
Nyland. John Nyland.
He would knock you out right now if he hit you. I'm not even joking, man. He'll be in the bed and roll over sometimes, hit me with the elbows. Oh, like I got Tyson punched in the ribs, dog. All right. That's it. I got one son turning 5 on Friday. I got another son turning 1 next Wednesday. So we're living.
March and December.
We're living.
March
Cowboys and
December.
Coffee. Find us online. Like, share, subscribe. Let your Cowboys friends know we're here for
Yeah,
it.
smash the button, please.
Yes. We'll talk to you guys. Peace.